My name is Brenda, and I work for North Central Iowa Ag in the Classroom. And wherever you're watching me from today, whether it's your classroom or at home, I hope you're having a really good day. We wish we could be in school with you. Um, Hopefully, we can do that again soon. We'd love to see you face to face sometime this fall or this winter or next spring. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day. We have, you've probably seen us before. There are, and when I say us, I mean me, and there's 5 other ladies who come into your classrooms, and we always come in and talk to you about farming. So that has to do with the animals, the livestock that farmers raise, or the crops that we grow. And remember, crops is just another word for plants. So maybe if you're in your classroom, you can talk a little bit right now about something you might have remembered us talking. Remember, see if you can remember some of the things that we have come in and talked to you about before in your classroom. We probably saw you when you were in kindergarten and possibly even when you were in preschool. So if you want to take a minute and see if you can remember some of those things, that'd be great. Today we're going to start with a little review, because if we were in your classroom, this is how we would start our lesson. So there are 2 main crops, and I have a lot of stuff. I know I keep looking away from you. I have a lot of stuff here that I'm going to be showing you as I'm talking to you today. But whenever we come to your classroom, we always bring a couple plants with us. So again, see if you can remember what those plants are. Do you remember? The first one I'm going to talk to you about is, see if you can get a good look at that. So these are called soybeans. There are 2 main crops or plants that Iowa farmers grow, and this is one of them. So if we were in your classroom with you right now, you would see this as a real plant that we've pulled up out of the ground. And soybeans, farmers grow these for many different things. The main use for soybeans is, and I'm going to, while I'm talking to you, I'm going to pull one of these things off. Now this is called a pod. Maybe you remember that from before. And you can, I don't know if you can see this, but it's kind of a furry, fuzzy thing. Again, if we were with you, we would be leaving one of these with you to feel. Can you tell how many soybeans are inside that pod? There's 3. That's the average number of soybeans in a pod, always. So average means there could be 2, there could be 4, but there's usually 3. And if I pop this, listen carefully, so you can hear that. It pops open kind of like if you were breaking a peanut out of a shell. So you can see, here's the actual part of the plant that we use. And it's this little tiny soybean. Soybeans always have like a black dot or a black eye to them. So what I was saying is, the main use for soybeans is feeding all of our animals. Cows, pigs, sheep, chickens, turkeys, all those animals that live on farms, they all need to eat every day. And soybeans is one of the things that they eat. And actually, there might even be soybeans in your dog or cat food if you have a pet at home. So soybeans, we raise them, we grow them so that we can feed our animals. We also make lots of foods out of soybeans. You might be most familiar with tofu or soy milk, but soybeans are actually made into an oil that goes into lots of foods that you guys eat all the time. And then the third use for soybeans is actually a fuel. It's called soy biodiesel, and it's gasoline for tractors and school buses and trucks, semis. So that's our review of the soybeans. You can see the bottom, the little bit of roots on the plant. We pulled these out of the field last fall, and this is what they look like right before they are harvested. or before the farmer goes out to combine them. All right, so that's our soybean review. Now this one's going to be a little bit trickier. Can you guess what the next plant is that I'm going to show you? Did you guess corn? That's right. So we always talk to you about corn, and maybe you remember that the corn that we talk about and that we come and show you is called, it's not sweet corn. Remember, sweet corn is what we get to eat in the summertime with salt and butter on it, or it might be frozen in a bag or in a can. That's sweet corn. This is field corn. And when you see all the cornfields in Iowa, this is what you're seeing. We do grow a little bit of sweet corn in Iowa, but the majority of what we grow, or most of what we grow here, is field corn. Now I'm going to try to show you in my small room here a little bit more about this plant. Now let me tell you first, this is an artificial plant, okay? So this is one that we actually had a company make for us so that it was, just so that it was easier for us to take around to schools all the time, because we took a real one with us for lots of years, but they would fall apart all the time and the ears would fall off. So this is an artificial one, but we've had some problems with it, so we're actually going to have to get another new one. There would normally be lots of leaves like this on it, and you can maybe tell from my plant there aren't a lot of the leaves on it. But you can see this is a pretty good representation of a real ear of corn. These are the kernels inside. Here's the silk. And then, so let's see. I'm going to show you the roots of the plant, because that's always interesting if we were in your classroom. Now again, remember, this is really good. The company that made this for us did a really good job with the roots. They really look like the roots on a corn plant, but you can probably see this thing here that wouldn't be on a real plant. That's just so that we can stand it up when we're in your classrooms. Now, this plant, I'm in an office, and I think we have 9-foot ceilings in here, and my plant goes almost all the way up to the ceiling. So that's how tall sweet or field corn is. They grow about 8 to 10 feet tall. So if we were in your classroom, maybe you remember this from us seeing you before, they actually stand almost all the way up to your roof, to your ceiling in your classroom. So I just wanted you to see that again. Now, again, 3 uses for corn, just like the soybeans. The number 1 use is feeding our animals. All the cows, pigs, sheep, chickens, turkeys, horses, they all eat this kind of corn. We make this kind of corn into a fuel for our cars, or gasoline, that's called ethanol. So maybe you've heard your parents or another grown-up talk about that. They can put ethanol in their cars and it makes their gas a little bit cheaper. Another use for this kind of corn, actually, you will probably eat something today and every day that has this kind of corn in it, because this kind of corn is made into either corn oil or a corn sweetener that's kind of like sugar. It's used in a lot of foods like sugar. It's in every can of pop that you drink, if it's not a diet pop. It's in cereals. It's in lots of things, lots and lots, hundreds of foods that you guys eat all the time, either corn oil, cornstarch, or corn syrup, which is kind of the one that's sweet like a sugar. So those are the 3 uses for corn: feeding our animals, making gasoline, and foods for us. Okay, so that's our review. See if I can get this to stand up without falling over while I finish visiting with you. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is all the foods and some other things that you guys eat or use every day that come from a farm. So we're going to see if you actually have ever thought about all the things that you eat that come from a farm. So we're going to start with, I've got some pictures here to show you. So this one, I hope you know, I hope you can guess, I hope you're saying this out loud if you're in your classroom or at home. this is a farm. Okay, so now I've got another picture. Oops. What is that a picture of? Are you saying it out loud? It's a picture of pigs. So if I lived on a farm, if I was a farmer, would I maybe have pigs on my farm? I might. If I'm a farmer in Iowa, there's lots of pigs in Iowa. We raise more pigs here than any place else in the country. And so that's an Iowa farm, pigs. Now, let's see if we can make this connection. What is this? Have any of you ever had ham to eat before? That's a picture of ham. Do you know what animal ham comes from? I bet you can guess. It comes from the pigs, doesn't it? So if I was a farmer living on a farm and I raised pigs, I would grow these pigs up really big, and then they'd go to market and become ham so that we have something to eat. Can you think of some other foods that come from pigs besides ham? Did you say bacon? Because that does. Did you say sausage? That does. See if you can think of some pork chops, Canadian bacon for pizza, pepperoni. All those meats come from pigs that are raised right here on Iowa farms. Okay, now have another animal. What's that a picture of? Those are chickens. So if I was a farmer on an Iowa farm, might I have chickens on my farm? I could. We raise a lot of chickens here in Iowa. We grow a lot of chickens, and these chickens, so what do we get from chickens? Are you saying eggs? We do. What else do we get from chickens? We get chicken meat, chicken nuggets, chicken thighs that we put on the grill and eat at home, or chicken drumsticks, legs. Those all come from chickens. Okay, so the chickens are raised on the farm. They are fed. They're taken care of by the farmer. He makes sure they're healthy, they're taken care of, they have water and food every day, and then they're going to lay eggs so that we can have eggs to eat. All right. Let's do this one next. So if I was a farmer, might you find these animals on my farm? You could. These are cows. Well, actually, I have another picture here. I'm going to see if I can make this a little harder for you. Do you think those are two different kinds of animals? They are. These are beef cattle. So what would we get from beef cattle? We would get hamburgers. Okay. These are dairy cows. What does dairy mean? Dairy means that they're going to give us milk. What can we make out of milk? We love milk. Milk is really good for us. What are some other things that we can make from milk? We can make, did you think of some? Ice cream, butter, cottage cheese. We eat lots of foods made from milk every day. So we have the Iowa farmer, and he might have beef cattle that gives us steaks and hamburgers and things like that. Or we have dairy cows that give us milk that we can make cheese and ice cream and other things out of. Okay, now, I'm an Iowa farmer. I might have, are you saying it? Corn on my farm. So I grow field corn. This doesn't look like the corn I just showed you on the stalk. That's just because this is a little bit earlier in the summer before it dries out. The plant I showed you was ready to be harvested to have the farmer get it out of the field with his combine. This is just a little bit earlier in the summer. That's why it looks a little different. So let's see if you can remember one of the things. I'm an Iowa farmer. I grow corn. Does this have something to do with corn? That's a picture of pop, soda, Coke, Dr. Pepper, something like that. Do you remember I told you that field corn is made into a corn sweetener or corn syrup that's just like sugar, and it goes into every can of pop? Now, are you going to tell the grown-up at your house that my Coke has corn in it, so that means it's really good for me because it's got a vegetable in it? No, because this really isn't considered a vegetable. We process it, we change it, we turn it into something that's sweet like sugar, and so that's why you can't tell a grown-up that you get to drink lots of pop because it has vegetables in it. Pop is still something that is kind of a special treat that we don't still want to drink a lot of, right? Okay, I have one more. Now this, see if you can figure out what this is. Can you guess? Now, a lot of times when we're in classrooms with first graders, they'll look at this picture and they think it's wool. It does look a lot like wool. Does wool come from a plant or an animal? It comes from an animal. We get wool from sheep. This is not wool. Can you see there's a stem on this picture down here? And these are kind of like leaves. This is kind of like a pod. It's really closed up tight when it's on the plant, when it's growing out in the field. And then it pops open, and this is called cotton. Okay? Now, if you were to look at the tags on whatever you're wearing right now, whether it's a t-shirt or a jacket or pajamas, your tag might say that there's cotton in your whatever you're wearing. It might even be 100% cotton. That means that it's made out of this plant. Okay? We get lots of clothes, lots of blankets, pillows made out of cotton. And it grows on a farm. That's where it starts. Starts out on the farm. Now, we don't grow cotton in Iowa. Cotton is grown more in the warmer southern states. But we all wear a lot of cotton. We use cotton in our sheets and our blankets. So we're really glad there's cotton farmers. So, what's that a picture of? A really cute sock. So we have a farmer somewhere, maybe in Texas, who grows cotton, and then that cotton, we can take it and make socks and t-shirts and blankets out of it. So that whole lesson is called My Farm Connection. Do you know why? What does connection mean? It means figuring out how one thing fits with another thing. So we started out with our farm, and then we talked about the different commodities. Now, this is the first time I've used that word. A commodity is the cows and the chickens and the cotton and the corn. It's just something that starts out on the farm and turns into something that we can eat or use. So maybe you want to say out loud commodity, and that's what we grow on farms. So to make the connection, we had the farm, the picture of the farm, then we had the commodity, and then we had the product that was made from that. That's just to remind you that farms and farming is important. It's where so many of your foods come from. It's where your clothes come from. We really need to have farmers who take good care of our animals and our land so that we can have things to eat and things to use. Now, wherever you are, whether you're in your classroom or you're at home, we arranged for you to have this piece of paper. So this is going to be your little review of the lesson that we just did, okay? So hopefully you can see. I'm going to hold that really close. you can see in the picture here, we have the farm at the middle, and then all around here are the 6 commodities that I showed you big pictures of. So we have pigs right here we have cotton, right here we have dairy cows. It was hard for me to see backwards. Here we have corn. Here we have, is that the chickens? And then we have the beef cattle. Okay? So can you see coming out from each one of the commodities, there's a word that tells you, it's the word that describes the picture that I showed you of what comes from each one of those commodities. And down at the bottom of the page are the product pictures. And maybe you can read, this says, cut the pictures out and glue them on the words that tell what they are. So what you're going to do is, you're going to need 3 things for this exercise, for this project, for this activity. You're not really, well, you can exercise, but this is just what your assignment is. So first of all, you're going to need a pencil, glue bottle or a glue stick, and scissors. So those are the 3 things you need. You'll remember that, right? Okay. The only thing you need the scissors or the pencil for is to write your name at the top. Okay? Be sure and do that part so that you can turn this paper into your teacher, or actually, I think you're probably just going to take this home. So write your name on the line and then take your scissors and cut on this dotted line right here, okay, so that you're separating the 2 pieces of paper. And then you're going to cut out each square down here that has a picture in it. Then you're going to take this picture and glue it to cover up the word where it goes. So this is a picture of a sock. This is the farm, the cotton, and this word says sock. So you're going to cut out the sock and you will glue it right there so that you cover up the word. Now I have one that I did so that you can see what yours is going to look like. What did I forget at the top? I didn't write my name, did I? Forgot that part. Don't you forget that part. So this is what your paper is going to look like when you're all done. Okay? And remember, this is just all about your farm connection so that you can remember where your food comes from, where your socks come from, that we all need to have farmers so that we have lots of food and lots of things that we need to use every day. Thank you for letting me come and visit you today wherever you are. Hopefully we get to see you again soon in your classrooms. Have a good day, and we'll see you again. Bye.